Hello, a few random tasks in this session. First, I finished installing the handbrake. There are a few other warnings that other blogs had about bolting it onto the chassis that I either didn't have an issue with or just have not realized that is an issue. I guess time will sort of tell whether I will have this issue or not, but I bolted it into the chassis. Um, First, one of the warnings was to install the prop shaft before the handbrake, which I did, but I didn't see why that would have been an issue. The second was to not bolt it to the chassis before testing that the handbrake worked. I think mine seems to work fine. I can pull it up and it sort of clicks and it seems to pull the cables correctly as far as I can tell. So we will see what happens. Don't forget, if you have a S3 chassis, you need to cross the cable over each other. If you have a SV or S5, you don't need to do that. For my cables, the sort of like black ring that you can twist is on the passenger side, and the other side has I think like the white ring on it. Um, the next task I did here was I installed the gear lever. That was pretty straightforward. You sort of just insert the lever to make sure it's seated correctly. You put the retaining ring around it. It should fit into the transmission flush. And then finally you put the sleeve over and then you tighten the 3 flange bolts over it. I used a dab of LocTite for each of them and tightened them to 11 nanometers. Um, and then I also wrapped the clutch cable in some extra fuel hose for protection. This was specified in the manual. I didn't connect the clutch cable to my clutch master cylinder because the manual shows it in a place where mine was not. I think the manual must be for a right-hand drive car. It showed it on the passenger side, whereas mine is actually directly under where the plenum and throttle body is, since that's where the pedal box is. So I didn't do it for this session. I had to verify this after the session. Um, uh, Also, you want to make sure that you connect the throttle cable before the airbox. I guess if you have, at least for a left-hand drive one, which mine is, same thing as the clutch cable. The manual showed it in the wrong place, probably for a right-hand drive car. Um, and so I installed the airbox and then had to disassemble it because the throttle cable needs to go underneath there. So the throttle cable would be routed between the middle of the plenum induction pipes. And then the wire is slightly thicker than where they should slot into. So it's kind of normal to have to pull it a little bit hard to get it into place. And then finally, there's like this black plastic flange that sort of plugs into the pedal box to like enclose it. I was advised I would have to whittle or grind that down to fit into the hole. It's just a little bit bigger. Um, then I also went around trying to tidy up the electrical. I didn't plug in everything. I have a few more questions to figure out, but I think of the things I figured out, near the nose cone, there are 3 sets of connectors. One is very obvious and it connects to the radiator fan. The other 2 sets of wires are a little bit similar. They both have 2 connectors. The one with the purple cable is for the horns, and the last one is just unused. Around the gear lever, there's also a few cables. The 2 from the rear, the pair from the rear that have the white connectors, those will connect to the 2 in the front, the pair in the front of the transmission tunnel, all the way in the front with the black connectors. And then there are 2, there's another pair that is plugged in really close, right in front of the gear lever, plugged into the transmission itself. They're pretty short, and those 2 just dangle. They're not used, so those were not connected. Um, and then finally, I have a problem with my air box, which is with the air filter installed and the box bolted up. I can see the orange flange of the air filter being sandwiched between the top and the bottom of the box. Apparently this is incorrect. I've had my dealer check that I have the correct air filter part, but it does seem to fit correctly on the box. And I also checked with a friend who's doing the build, and the picture of how the filter should be in the box looks the same between his and mine, except when he closes it, you can't see the flange. It's entirely enclosed. So I'm trying to figure out what the problem is here. That's it for this session. More next time.